Paint us a picture of what your life looked like before addiction.
Before addiction? I was married for 25 years, had 4 children, was very active in the insurance industry. I was very active in my kids' lives, just a regular family life. My mental health at that point, now that I know what I know, there were some issues going on. I definitely had some anxiety issues, and I was dealing with some depression at that time, but didn't even recognize the early signs of depression. I had no work-life balance. My diet really wasn't very good. I started to drink more, and exercise really was non-existent. And as a result of that, I developed a neck and back issue that led me down the path to see a surgeon. He referred me to a pain management doctor, and from there, that pain management doctor introduced me to prescription pain medication. One thing I learned very quick was not only did it help me with the physical pain, but I realized that if I took an extra pill or two, it certainly felt easier to cope with the stresses of life. But hindsight looking back at it, I was becoming physically and really mentally addicted. Within 6 months, I was running through my prescriptions, so I was going to the streets to try to supplement to get through the end of the month. It's almost like being trapped in a prison. It's a terrible way to live. I was messed up at work on fentanyl patches. I couldn't get any more. Physical sickness was starting to set in. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I literally drove myself from the office on my lunch break to the train tracks in Westmont, and I would walk to the train tracks, and I literally was going to jump in front of a train. And when I put my wallet down and looked up, I was surrounded by first responders, which to this day, I still don't even know how they got there so quickly. I ended up in a psychiatric facility after that, and then eventually went into treatment for the first time. They teach you that strength, willpower, and self-knowledge isn't necessarily going to get you through, for long-term sobriety. Again, maybe ego, I thought that it would, but eventually you have a stressful day or something bad happens in your life. Well, maybe I'll just want that feeling one more time. The issue is that once you're an addict, once you put that in your body, you're off to the races again, and you're in full-blown addiction.
How did your addictions impact your relationships?
And when she filed for divorce, that's when another relapse occurred. And that's when things escalated to a whole other level. Almost like a death wish, doing drugs and drinking very recklessly. And I was involved in a car accident. And my head went through the windshield and I woke up on a ventilator in the hospital. They arrested me for a DUI for that car accident. So now I got legal issues. It was in the papers. And that's when the employer came to me and said that it's best that we separate. Now you lost your wife, you lost your children, and now you lost your financial means to supply your habit. And now panic is setting in. What are you going to do? They rounded us up all one day, and they said, you're going to hear a speaker. You're going to hear a speaker from NAMI. So this gentleman comes in the room, and when he starts telling his story, it literally felt like he was speaking to me. Here he is, he beat his addictions. He's living a life of recovery, and he's speaking in a hospital, and he's trying to live a life of service and helping others. And I can't begin to tell you how inspiring that was. I think early on, you need just hope that it can be done. And hearing his live life experience gave me the hope that if I work hard enough, maybe I can have what this gentleman has. Now I was meeting people that had similar conditions to me, They got their live life experiences. I have my live life experience. Some are in recovery. Some are still battling some of the issues that they got. But just going in there and creating a network of people that understand each other and are able to talk in a language that everybody understands really goes a long way. Participating in the support groups and hearing people's stories, you hear about exercise, you hear about being active. I started doing Google searches and learning everything I can about these feel-good chemicals and what I put in my body and how it affects me and my mental state. I also learned, about the endorphin effect and how exercise is so critical to getting those endorphins up. Why do I choose to partner with them? First and foremost, if it wasn't for them organizing that speaking engagement in the hospital, I would not have received that hope and inspiration, and I don't know where I would be at today or if I would even be alive. The best advice that I was able to get out of the addictions that I was dealing with were from people that not only dealt with that from a live life perspective, but was able to beat that and live a life of recovery and kind of show me the way. And I felt that if I can kind of pay that forward and do that for others, I feel that was my social responsibility, if you will. From being at the top of my career to now, I guess the biggest thing that's changed is I was money driven, thought that meant success. My definition of success now is what type of impact I can make on society and what type of hope and inspiration I can bring to others.